Hi everyone, Richard here at Calvin Wazoo with another video. And today I'm going to go back into the early recordings of Car Seat Headrest, the numbered albums. So as I have been really enthralled with Will Toledo's catalog and have been really enjoying his music. There have been some comments from people who said, man, you need to go check out the numbered releases. These were releases, or these are releases, that are only available digitally, and you can find them at Bandcamp. And these are the ones where we definitely get the lo-fi moniker, because everything is pretty much done by Will. The instrumentation, the playing, the recording, recording inside his car, hence, the name of the project, Car Seat Headrest. He would drive sometimes out to very remote places so that he could then do the lyrics. He would do all the instrumentation recording at home, and then go in his car and go, to some remote area where he could really yell his lyrics. And you hear it in a lot of his songs. There is this very visceral, in an almost animalistic, guttural scream of emotion that is very raw and very real with his material. And you definitely, you can hear it in his later releases that are more polished, and the production value is much higher. They're done in studios and things like that. But you really hear it with these earlier recordings. And I'm going to talk about 1 through 4, and I'm going to make a comment, but probably not go into very much detail about each track and each release, and talk maybe a little bit more about the ones that I like better than the others. Because with these recordings, we get a rare glimpse with a musical artist and how their sound and their technique develops. A lot of times with, for example, another, recording artist that I'm very into, let's say, is Frank Zappa. There are not very many early, as far as I know, early recordings prior to his debut album with the Mothers of Invention, Freak Out. And so, we get something from the Mothers of Invention that's already pretty well developed. In fact, very well developed. But with many newer artists, and in Will Toledo's case, we do have an opportunity to see how his musical development matured over time. And the numbered albums show a really dramatic and intense transformation and fine-tuning of what he was attempting to accomplish. The other interesting thing I really find with Will Toledo's material, at least up to and through Teens of Denial, is that we're getting a gestalt, that the songs and the material have connections throughout his catalog. And I'll talk more about this in future videos, because I'm kind of getting the impression that with his most recent release, Making a Door Less Open, we see a shift from that. And I'll need to listen some more and see if the thread of Gestalt is still continuing. But anyway, it's been a fascinating trip to go back and listen to the albums, like I said, which is they're all on Bandcamp. And there are plenty of places where, you can review the lyrics, and because sometimes, because of the lo-fi quality, it's not always easy to, on a first listen, hear everything that he is singing or saying. There are songs that he goes through, and there's spoken passages. And these impressions are all pretty much based on single listens. But it's really amazing because, all right, so we're talking about 4 releases, numbered releases. Car Seat Headrest 1, Car Seat Headrest 2. But they were all put together in 1 year, all right? So we got Car Seat Headrest number 1, which was released, or it was made available. And, maybe I need to rethink that. These were all released in the year 2010. When I think about, let's say, Car Seat Headrest 1, that material might not have all been written and recorded in 2010. It could include material from earlier. That, I don't know. Someone, if you have a little more information on that, about when the songs were written, and even perhaps, when original tapes were made, please leave that in the down under, and, help me understand that. But nonetheless, each of the 4 were released or made available to the public in the year 2010. So we've got Car Seat Headrest 1, which was released in May of 2010. Car Seat Headrest 2 was June of 2010. Car Seat Headrest 3 was July of 2010. And Car Seat Headrest 4 is August 2010. So boom, just like that. Now, he did have a Car Seat Headrest 5, but then he gave it a title. So I'm not including that one in here. But I'm going back, and in the process, it now makes sense to me why during an interview when Will was asked, would he consider going back and re-recording and polishing up the material from some of these earlier recordings, and his reply was no, I have no interest in doing that. And after listening to just the first 4, I understand why. And it'll maybe become apparent as I start going through here. So let's get started. All right, so we've got Car Seat Headrest 1, all right? And I don't have any images, really. I mean, there are some images if you go to Bandcamp, and I feel, yeah, I could download one of the images and, hold it up like I did for Nervous Young Man. But I only did that because I like that photo from Nervous Young Man. The other photos are, ink is expensive. Colored ink is expensive, and so is photo stock. Anyway. So I don't have images that I'll be able to hold up, so we can look at for example, be my hero image with the video. So let's start off here. Car Seat Headrest 1. It opens up with Tybee Island Horse Ghosts. And this is a pretty good song. And apparently Tybee Island, is a barrier island city that's in Georgia, by Savannah, Georgia. This is south of Hilton Head, South Carolina. It has a very, very psychedelic feel to it, and it's a pretty good song. One thing I'm noticing, though, right off the bat with Car Seat Headrest 1 is Will's voice. He's definitely much younger. His voice hasn't completely completely gone through its transformation, its adolescent transformation into the voice that we hear with his later material. So that was like one of the things that I first heard. But anyway, Tybee Island Horse Ghost is, yeah, that's pretty good. Then there's Good Sunday, a very psychedelic popish song, and also pretty good song. Kind of reminds me of what was happening with Beatles' Revolver, kind of something like that. Then we get the original recording of Big Jacket. And this is a piece that was, or a song that was later polished up a little bit and released on Nervous Young Man. This is a very, very lo-fi recording of Big Jacket with the guitar strumming. And I tell you, the at the end, this is one of those examples where it is so intense. It is so guttural. It is just really the emotion that is coming out in that wailing at the end is just absolutely amazing. This is one of the best tracks. In fact, on Car Seat Headrest 1, I got a bunch of notes here about the different songs. Yeah, this is, in my opinion, while there are a couple other, well, there's one other song. There's one other song that I put a big star next to. This was, in my opinion, one of the strongest songs on the recording. The next one is Gisari the Somnambulist. I think I misspelled something. But anyway, it's kind of an interesting soundscape in the first half of this song. But in the second half of the song, it just loses me. Happy Ugly is the next track. It's okay. David Lynch versus the Moon, instrumental also. It's not bad. It's not bad. Just doesn't, really do things for me. Apparently, Will really likes David Lynch films. I'm a huge David Lynch fan myself. Then the next song is His Shiny Customers. Again, meh. It just doesn't do much for me. Up All Night is the next track. Same thing. It just, Then we get to Inside the Bell Jar. It's got a very interesting rhythm. And his vocals, the timbre and that, it reminds me of something, but I haven't been able to put my finger on it. So, and this is just one listen. So I may need to listen to it a couple more times before I go, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. The next one is July New Hay, as in H-E-Y, hay. Very ethereal instrumental, but again, it just kind of meh. It just doesn't quite do it for me. Then we go into Kid War. This is a good song, It's one of the better songs on this release. It's a bit strange to me. And then the next one, You Have to Go to College, is got a very doo-woppy and swingy kind of style to it. I wrote down in my notes, think of Weezer on Quaaludes. Then we come up with Yes Bulletin, a very synthy rhythm experiment. This is what I really get out of like the first two recordings in particular, that Will is experimenting with a lot of different techniques, and one of them being reversing vocals over tracks, and which he does a lot on this, and he does a lot also on number 2. And he's kind of experimenting with that, and sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't, in my opinion. Then the other really strong, probably the next strongest song on here is Mortgages for Veterans. This is where he is singing over a reversed tape. And it, the whole part, the whole section about Goodbye Pressure, he's harmonizing kind of like Simon and Garfunkel. And then it brings in this fuzzed guitar. And the second half of the song just really kills it, really jams, really rocks. And then the number one ends with my dad just passed out. It's just, to me, it's just kind of meh. Now, then we come with number two, which is June, a month later. But again, I think there was definitely the content on number one is from much earlier than 2010. And so with two, because we hear a shift in Will's voice. His voice is settling in to what his voice is going to sound like as an adult. He's getting beyond that adolescent shakiness and squeakiness that we go through as our voice changes. He's beyond that now, so his voice is settling in, and it's more recognizable to what we hear with later recordings. So this one starts off with Smoke Zone. Again, just it really doesn't. Went to a coffee shop is kind of interesting, but not that strong. We Are in Space. So this is more experimentation with the reverse vocals. It's interesting, but. And then the song It's You, again, it's kind of, so the first four songs here are just not very strong in my opinion, but I can hear how he's doing a lot of experimentation in trying new techniques out. Then we come up to the song Shoelaces. Now, Shoelaces lyrically is kind of, again, to me, the lyrics are just kind of, yeah. But musically, it's really, really interesting. And then we get these wailing backing vocals that he builds into it that reminds me very much of Nirvana in All Apologies. So this song is much stronger than the first four. Then we've got Act Suspicious. Again, this is kind of weak in my opinion. Then Reversible Jacket comes on. It's got more of this reverse taping. There is a reference, I believe, to Big Jacket in here, in particular with the reference to the white light that people who have had near-death experiences report to have seen. The white light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. So yeah, it's got more of the reversed taping. Kind of interesting, but still kind of meh. Then we've got the Majestic Hotel. This appears to be a reference to the hotel in Miami, South Beach, Miami. South Beach being, a huge party scene, but also a huge gay scene in Miami. It's okay. The song 90 is kind of meh to me. It's a 60s garage pop style. But again, like I say, there's a lot of experimentation going on with Will's material. Then we come to Fiction 1. This song is very strong in my opinion. It's very, very lo-fi, but I really, really liked it. Then comes Hanging Out with My Mom. Again, it's a lot of the reverse recording, reverse vocals, and it's just, this doesn't do much for me. The next song, Then It Will Be Exactly the Same as Earth. I might be messing up the titles because I'm like jotting them down as I'm listening to them, and sometimes I adopt a shorthand, when I'm writing these things down. And so if I'm misstating a title, I apologize, all right? Just going off my notes. This song is a reference to Pain Star, which is something that he sings about later. It's also from a later recording that's called Disjecta Membra. There is that's one of Will's albums, but it's also the name of a band. But still, this song is just kind of meh to me. And that's the closer for number 2. All right, so number 3, Let me move my notes over. Number 3 was July of 2010. And things are getting really good. Things are starting to become much stronger. The songwriting lyrically is getting better, and the songwriting in terms of the instrumentation is getting really better. So a lot of the experimentation that you hear, or that I hear anyway, on 1 and 2, which was wasn't doing a whole lot for me, and I didn't really think it was doing a whole lot for the individual songs, now is coming together. He's really found how to use these various techniques, including the backwards recording, to much greater effect. So the first song is No Starving, but this is still kind of a mess song. He's playing the drums, and it's the reversed voice, and but we get to a much stronger pop song with the next one, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Fag. This has much, much stronger lyrics and stronger pop structure to it, and it does have some connection, with James Joyce, a portrait of the young man as portrait of the artist as a young man. Excuse me, I'm messing that up. The third song, Beach Week, as in WEAK, really strong, powerful. It's like Beatles pop vibe. If you think of like a Beatles pop vibe circa Revolver, but with the darkness of Syd Barrett. And it, again, really super strong song. And it's also the development of the whole Beach Life and Death suite that is in Twin Fantasy. That's a suite. He constructed a suite with Beach Life and Death. And here are the individual parts being developed before they, he puts them together in a final form on Twin Fantasy. And this is one of the reasons why I'm sure that Will is saying, no, I'm not going to go back and redo these numbered albums. Well, because he already has. I mean, when you think about the songs here from number 3, he did already go back, rework them, and put them into an entire package, which became the Beach Life and Death suite on Twin Fantasy. After Beach Week, we get Foreign Song, which has a 60s psych vibe. So we're getting a lot of these psychedelic vibes with the songs. And he's got a harpsichord in it. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's much better. It's not there are much stronger songs on number 3 than the Foreign Song, but it's much better than many of the other songs on 1 and 2. Then Teenagers, Take Off Your Clothes. This is a good one, a good remix, which this later he redid even more and cleared it up a little bit for Teens of Style. Another reason why he, I think he's disinclined to go back and redo these albums, because Teens of Style, although they do not necessarily have, there's just a couple songs that are coming from these earlier recordings, and mostly from, number 3, but then some others that come later. So he went and chose his favorites and reworked them so that he could turn in something with Matador. And I will, be talking about Teens of Style eventually. Then we have Sun Hot, which is a very shoegazy song, and it's just a lot of fun noise. So that's one I like. And then we have the song Beach Fags, which is among, it's kind of going to become part of that suite, that maybe began with Beach Week. We got Beach Fags. It has a similar hook to REM Everyone Hurts. It's a very similar hook. And it opens with lines that are very parallel to the Beatles song A Day in the Life. The bridge technique in this song, right, the bridge part in the song, is the technique that he would later use when he would complete the entire suite of Beach Life and Death. And then, at the end, there's this, I wish I was a kid with an adult boyfriend, that he repeats at the end. It was kind of interesting reading some of the interpretation, so to speak, by people to this, and that, people were saying that this is Will saying that he wants to maybe be, taken care of, he wants to remain childlike and then have the adult boyfriend who's going to take care of him. That's possibly the case. I'm not saying that's an incorrect interpretation. I do want to point out, though, that intergenerational relationships in the gay community have a long history. And what's going on varies, but one of them was the mother relationship. And this was fairly common in the earlier days when people were not out in public so much. And young gay men would become connected with an older gay man. And sometimes the relationship was intergenerational. So, we're talking about someone, 19, 20 years old with someone who is 40 or 50 years old. But a lot of times it would be someone who's like 19 or 20 with someone in their 30s. So there would be a gap in age. And the older partner was essentially called, back in those days, the mother. And the way these relationships work is that the older gay man would take the younger gay man under his wing, so to speak, and guide him, instruct him on the community and how to navigate the community and how to live a life true to themselves in a hostile environment. And then the younger partner would be freed. It was never intended, for the most part, it was never intended to be a lifelong relationship, but one of nurturing and tutoring, so to speak. And this was fairly common, and it's more common now, I think. I think there are many gay men who feel a lot more comfortable about expressing the fact that they prefer an older man as their partner for perhaps even a lifelong relationship. So a little bit of, history in that. At the same time, maybe Will is talking about his desire to simply remain childlike under the care of an older boyfriend, which might point to, some father issues. I mean, I think I'm going to say many, not a lot, but I think many young gay men do have father issues. And that's why they say, we call them the daddies, daddy types. And so we sexualize that relationship. So I'm not saying that's what Will is doing, but that is a little broader perspective that, and I know younger people in the gay community are very aware of the, daddy relationship, the daddy archetype, but they may not be as aware of in the 60s and 70s when we had mothers. The older gay man who was basically instructing the younger gay man on how to live true to themselves. All right, I'll keep moving here. Summer Bummer. This apparently is not a very popular song with many fans. It's got a low rating among the fans, I think, but I really like it. It's very droning and lethargic, kind of like a narcotic dream. And, it might even, to me, stylistically be drawing the comparison of, religion being an opiate. There are many songs that Will writes that have religious undertones to them. Apparently, my guess is he was raised in coming from Virginia, that area of Virginia, it's Bible Belt, and so there was probably a lot of religion going on while he was growing up. But I do like Summer Bummer, despite many fans not. Then we've got Ryan North by Northwest. It's an okay song. I think Will likes this song a lot, probably even better than many of his fans, but it's very esoteric and personal. So it seems, it's kind of popish with fans, and like I say, it's kind of it's an okay song. It's got a little bit of that reference to the Hitchcock film North by Northwest. But I also sense this very deeply personal core of it that I think Will really likes this song. But as I say, it's probably what he knows he put into that song. He probably is a bit dubious as to whether anybody else can really get it. To me, I'm getting this personal connection between he and the song, but why, it remains a little elusive to me as well. Then we have Beach Drugs, okay? Really strong song. I love the guitar in here. It's very fun, psychedelic material. It does end with the reversed recording of voices. And this is his best use of the technique so far. He's really mastered, or is mastering, that particular technique. It's going really, really well. As I said, I really love the guitar. Then we have Beach Death, okay? The structure is very pop. The chorus is really strong pop. And this is one, though, I would like to, as itself, even though he's incorporated much of these beach songs into the suite that was on Twin Fantasy, this is a song that I would like to see him just take this song as it is in the studio, rework it a little bit. Then this is followed by Beach Funeral. Super strong song. Again, we're talking about the Twin Fantasy suite. It is a song perhaps about unrequited love, which gives me a little bit of a different feeling about Twin Fantasy. Is Twin Fantasy about a relationship that he had with somebody? Or was it a song about somebody he wished to have a relationship with, but who was already in one? And this song kind of brings that up. It has really loved that wailing I was talking about that he does, so well. The angst that he delivers in that is just really good, and the feedback buzz at the end it's really killer. And Oh Starving, this is a song that did appear also as a slightly redone, remastered song on Teens of Style. I really, really love the lyrics in this song. I really do, and I will talk about it more, when I cover Teens of Style. It's very lo-fi on this recording here, and it's a little more polished on Teens of Style. All right, we're approaching 35 minutes here, and we've got album number 4 to go. And album number 4 is, again, the strength of his songwriting and composition and his lyrics is just getting sharper and sharper. First song, A Good Bridge to Never Cross Until There's No Doubt He's Dead. It's got really strong pop chords in here, but to me, lyrically, it kind of meanders. Then the next song is Who Even Knows? It's kind of punk or power pop. It's a good tune. And even The Who knows. even The Who knows, to me, it's a very overt reference to the band, The Who. And then subtly, I'm wondering, it's kind of a reference to the song Behind Blue Eyes. Just thinking about that. Then there's Not, quote, kidding, end quote, around. And he's saying in the, singing in the song how he doesn't get Kid A with the Radiohead album. And I think some fans are being ironic about it, thinks he's being ironic about it. I don't think so either, because I don't get Kid A. I don't get Radiohead at all, really. And I think that's what Will is saying, that he doesn't get, and people don't want to listen to the fact, that he doesn't get it, that just doesn't seem to be that great, yet everybody thinks it's so great. And, I'm kind of in that camp too. Radiohead is a band I've just been unable to connect with. So also it ends with, I got Biz Deals, Dirty Biz. This is also, I see Will starting to develop his kind of hold my nose attitude in terms of dealing with record companies, dealing with music executive and the necessary evil that record companies are for musical artists. Heartless Dick is, I wonder, is this an homage to Kurt Cobain? Not a bad song. Then we have Dickless Heart, which has a really strong guitar opening. And it's like an acoustic guitar. But I think he's playing it on an electric guitar. I would love to hear it strictly on an acoustic guitar, just Will and him and an acoustic guitar on this song. I think it would really, really really be a good one to hear live. And I do the same thing. I watch TV while I'm eating. So I would really, again, like this to be an acoustic solo. His oohs, again, are so great. And I really love the line, "You eat alone long enough, it's tough to let others in." Lyrically, that is so good, because I can relate to that. I eat alone a lot. And so over time, I have just become more and more reluctant to, let other people in. I've got my core group of friends, but creating new friendships is challenging, and sometimes I feel like it's not worth the effort. Then we've got Feel Like Daniel Johnson. This is great pop song, just really great pop song. I got my music, got my TV, I'll just stay here. It's sometimes, again, I just really feel like that, especially during the whole pandemic thing, because, I got my music, I got my TV and my DVDs and the anime that I like to watch. Again, it comes back to, sometimes it's difficult to let somebody in and to share that with. Then The Ghost of Bob Saget. Wow. This is such an incredible song. The lyrics, the music, in fact, the next song too, Around, these last two songs are fucking great. They are just killer songs. I don't know what else to say about them. But again, not just the music, but the lyrics are just so incisive, so cutting, so I want to say so real, but that is so cliche. But yeah, the last two songs, The Ghost of Bob Saget and Around, really strong closers for the album, number 4. So those are my thoughts on the numbered albums. And And these were all based on single listens. But these very strong songs that I have marked as being really strong, I'm going to go back and listen to them again. And I may purchase them individually to create a CD of just those songs, and to keep that. I hope you enjoyed this. A little long on, a little longer than many of my videos, but I wanted to get through all 4 of those before I start diving into some of the newer material. I'm still going to go through some of the older recordings like Matador and not Matador. Matador's the record label. And I'm drawing a blank, but oh well. I've enjoyed all your comments on the earlier videos. Please leave a comment in the down under. I hope you enjoy that. Please remember to always pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.